Hi all, in this video we will discuss about permission set. So it's as its name suggests, it's a set of permissions which grant you access or which extend the user access. In the system, a permission set is a collection of settings and permissions that give users access to various tools and functions. Permission sets extend users functional access without changing their profiles. For an example, if you have multiple users and they are sharing the same profile, but there are there is a requirement that only 2 or 3 users should, or only this particular role or this particular user should have access to this field, or should have edit access on this particular field or on this particular object. Then it's better to create a permission set rather than creating a new profile for a separate users. So then you will have multiple profiles if you create profile for each and every new user. So it's better if you share the same profile with the common access according to their function in the business, and then you drive the extended access using permission sets to various users. So now uh, let's see an example. For an example, we have 3 users. For an example, we have 2 or 3 users. So it will be, there is user A, then we have user B, and then we have user C. So all these users have the same profile. So they have the same profile. It means and the profile has access. For an example, read access on account object. And now there is a requirement that A and B user should have edit access on account. So there are 2 approaches to it. We can introduce new profile, and then we can create a new profile. In that profile we can give edit access on account object, and we can then assign that particular profiles to A and B user. And the already existing profile will be with C, so there will be 2 profiles in the picture. So it's better, means like there will be an overhead, like if there is any change, then we have to go to the profile and we have to do all the things there, and we have to manage the profiles. So it's better not to create a profile every time if the common permissions are not required for more users. So it's better to create a particular permission set and then grant access to that user. So through permission set we can extend the permission, or we can extend the access to that particular user. And permission set cannot revoke any permission. They can only grant the permission set. And there can be multiple permission set for a user, and we can assign permission set on user level. So we will create a permission set whose name can be edit account permission set, and then we will assign this permission set to A and B user. Now these 3 users have the same profile, but these 2 users have the permission set, so they will have the edit access on account, and C will not have the edit access. So in means this is how we can use the permission set as per the requirement. So there are different types of permission sets. There are custom permission set which we design or which we create according to our requirement. Then there are managed permission set which comes into picture when we have any when we install any managed package in the system. So by default the permission set which are a part of that particular managed package will come in the org. Then we have session based permission set. So session based permission set we can create while creating the permission set we get a checkbox which states that if you want that session activation thing, and if that particular checkbox is checked, so for that particular session only, that permission set will run in that particular user context. Means like if the user has logged in that particular session, then only that particular permissions will be there with that user. After the session ends, it will not be with the particular user, as we have defined in the session settings of that permission set. And the third thing is, we have standard permission sets, which comes from Salesforce out of the box when we create a new Salesforce app. And then we have what permission set can be assigned to a particular set of users that we can define while creating a permission set. We have one thing that is license. So in that particular thing, we can define like this, but if the user has this particular type of license, then only this permission set can be assigned to that user. If the license is not if the license is not there, of the if the license mismatches, means like user has standard user license and in the permission set it has a Salesforce license, at that time we cannot assign that particular permission set. So it's not mandatory to have a license in the in the permission set. It's just if we want, we can have that thing. So now we will move to org and we will see how we can create a permission set. So we have to just go to setup, then we will type permission sets, and then we can name the anything like custom permission set. The API name it will copy. If you want session permission set, so as you can read, like apply the permission set only when user session meets specified criteria. So then you have to just check this. For an example, as of now we are not checking this out, and this is the thing I was talking about, license. So if you are giving it a license, for an example Salesforce license, so if you are creating a particular permission set for the Salesforce license or with Salesforce license, so all the users who are having Salesforce license, only to that particular user group you can assign this particular permission set. Okay, so this also depends on your requirement. So as of now I'm keeping it none, so it can be assigned to any user. So now this particular permission set has been created. It is taking time to load. Okay, so this is the permission set. As you can see, there is no license to it. You can assign apps. You can have the object settings, like you can go in this particular object setting, and there you can define like on account, on how many fields you want, which type of access, edit access, read access. And if your profile has a read access or edit access on any field, and if you are not giving that permission in permission set, or if you are giving that if you are not giving the particular permission in the permission set, it will not revoke that permission. It is like if you have a particular field, so for an example account name is the field, and on profile level you have only read access, and in the permission set you have edit access, and you are having the same profile, and you have been assigned with the same permission set, at that time you will have the edit access on account name. Okay, so for an example, if you want to give it read access, then you can just click on edit, and then you can set it read, and then you can check all the fields which type of access you want, read access or edit access in, and then you can select it like what access you want to give on field level, what access you want to give on object level. So in that manner you can set it up. Then if we go to permission set overview, then we will get a different section like object setting, assigned apps, visual for page access. Then we have two things like system permissions are there. So this system permissions majorly if you want to transfer lead and you don't have the permission to do that, so there is a transfer record in the if this particular thing is if this particular permission is with you, you can change the owner of most records and transfer lead. So there are multiple system permissions you can check according to your requirement, like modify all data, then you can modify any data in the org. So in that manner you can have this particular system permissions you can set up according to the requirement. And Then so now we have created one custom permission set. Now I have to go to manage assignments to add users to it. So to add, I will just go to add assignment and I will check the Salesforce user. It is there. I will just go to this user. I will select it out and then I will go and I will hit next. So there is another functionality to it. If you are assigning a permission set to a particular user, there are two things. You can set the expiration date if needed, and the by default it will be no expiration date. So once you have assigned it, you have to again go and you have to remove the particular permission set if it is not required by the user. In some of the cases it might be the case like you want to give access to a particular user for 7 days, for one day, or for a particular time range, or for given number of days. At that time you can specify the expiration date, and it can be like one day, what will be the time zone and all that thing, and then you can assign. So after one day, this particular permission set will be revoked from that particular user, that is Salesforce user. Now this is the one way. You have to go to permission set and then you have to go to manage assignments, and you can assign this particular permission set to a user. And the other way is, if you go to the particular user, then you have to just scroll down, and as you can see, there is permission set assignments. You have to just go to edit assignments, and then you have to just, you can remove it, you can add it. Okay. So as of now I have removed it, and if I want to add it again, I can go to that permission set and assign it, and I can, from here also I can do the same thing. But in this we will not get that expiration thing. Means like we cannot assign that like what will be the expiration date and all that stuff. If you go via permission sets and permission set, and then you assign a particular user that particular permission set, at that time you have an option to select the expiration date according to your requirement. So this is all about permission sets. Then we have one more thing, that is permission set groups. So for an example, we create a new permission set group. The name of the group will be PS group, that is PSG. You can enter the description you want. Then, so now in this particular permission sets, so if you want to assign any permission set to this particular permission set group, then you have to just click on add permission set, and then you have to go to the recently created permission set. So this is the newly created permission set, and then if you want any other, you can add to it. And then this is a permission set group. So permission set group will hold one or more than one permission sets. So the use case is like, if you want to give 5 permission sets to a particular user, so then you can group it, and then you can just go to that user and you can just give or you can just give that user that particular permission set group. So all the permission sets which are there in that particular permission set group will be assigned to that particular user. So I will just go to permission set group, and I will just go to manage assignments, add assignment. So this is the user. Now we have an option to, again, the expiration option is there. One day I am assigning this particular permission set group. Then I will just go to Salesforce user. Then I will just go, and as you can see, permission set PSG group has been assigned. and the permission set license assignments also done. So CRM user is the permission set license assignment for the one of the permission set which is a part of this permission set group. Okay, so however, means like you will have access to all the things which are there in that particular permission set, which are part of that particular permission set group. So this is all about the permission set and the permission set groups. Thank you. Have a nice day.